Hi guys, it's James from Meatster and I'm back for another weekly steak video. And actually today is a really cool one. I want to do a little test, but first of all, let me introduce you to what we're cooking today. And it is a Brazilian special, the picanha steak. Now, I came to know about this from a really great channel called Sous Vide Everything. Guga, the guy who runs that channel, is Brazilian, so this is close to his heart. He's made quite a few videos about picanha. They're all really useful actually, so you can go and search those out after this video. So what is picanha? Well, essentially it is the rump cap. So it is a dome-shaped piece of steak with fat running all over the top of it, which will baste the steak beautifully as it cooks. So it's already been cut up into individual steaks. And the main test today is A, what do I think of picanha? What does it taste like? What is the texture like, etc. And secondly, I'm going to cook one piece in the sous vide and one piece just in the pan. And that is just going to test the really specific way of cooking to the casual, I haven't got time, I need to just cook this thing now, and see whether it was worth taking the extra time over sous vide. And if you watch previous videos where we've used sous vide, it doesn't always turn out that sous vide is the winner. So I've set the sous vide machine to 132.5 Fahrenheit, and that's a sort of medium rare temperature that's going to give us a little bit of leeway when it comes to searing the steak afterwards, which I will do on the flat hot plate on the top of my stove, which is what I often use to cook steak. It's a very neutral way of cooking steak compared to a barbecue, compared to searing it, and even compared to something like a cast iron griddle or pan. It really doesn't change the steak in any way apart from giving it a crust, which is great for these tests. And so to follow through with that, we are just going to use salt and pepper, and I'm going to make up a little sort of chimichurri style oil, which I will very quickly show you how I do that as well. But let's get to it. I'm going to get the steak into the sous vide. It's going to take about 2 hours. You could do 90 minutes. I'm going to do somewhere between 90 minutes and 2 hours. 2 hours would be ideal, but I'm really hungry. It's getting quite late, so let's get on with it. All right guys, the steak is now cooked. This one on this side is the sous vide steak. This is the one that I cooked on top of the stove. And I'm interested in just seeing what picanha is like, what the texture's like, how tender is it, what the flavor is like. You know, obviously, as I said, it's part of the rump, or in the States you'd call it sirloin. If you see a video that I made a couple of weeks ago, rump is a cut I've only just started getting into, but really enjoy. And I just want to see also if the cooking method makes much of a difference. So here we go. Oh, that looks absolutely awesome. Okay. All right, let's just taste what these are like. The smell is quite strong, very beefy, slightly irony with that rump character that I discovered recently, which is definitely a different flavor to other premium cuts like ribeye and strip loin. So this is the pan cooked one. Cheers. It's very juicy, but also quite lean at the same time. So it's not very fatty inside the sort of muscle, but there's a lot of juiciness that's coming out, and in a minute I will taste the fat that's on the outside. Right, this is the sous vide one. This is, for me, a great test to see if sous vide is really worth the extra time. Damn, that is good. Right, I'm gonna keep the fat on this one. So it's really meaty in a good way. This is, I should have said before, this is 32-day dry aged Aberdeen Angus picanha. So, you know, this is really good stuff, and it's got some age to it, which adds some of that savory flavor, you know, that I really enjoy, that dry aging flavor. The texture is like rump. You know, it doesn't have all that intramuscular fat that strip loin and ribeye have, but it does have a more intense flavor in some ways. You know, it's really beefy, it's savory, it's got that umami, and the juiciness of this is off the charts, let's be honest. I can't actually decide which texture I prefer. They are different. The one that's come out of the pan is, I would say, slightly juicier. The oiliness on it, that might not sound great, but it is. Whereas the sous vide one is less juicy. Now, it might have a couple more degrees on it because, you know, it's impossible when you put it on top of the pan to get it exactly right. If you look at the color here, you can see that they're almost identical. This one might be a couple of degrees rarer. All right, so I can get a general idea of the flavor, which is delicious, and the texture, which is really nice. And if you like rump, you'll definitely love this. This is just like rump, but on steroids, basically. You know, it's a bit more flavorsome, it's a bit more tender, it's just a bit more juicy. Now, this one is clearly medium rare, if not edging rare. And this one is more medium rare to edging to medium. So let's see if we take a nice chunky piece, which level of cooking that I prefer. Okay, we'll start with the sous vide one that's slightly closer to medium. So that is less juicy, I would say. Slightly denser texture, you know, it's lost a bit of that juiciness, so it does feel more dense, whereas this one you can actually see the juices coming out of it. In this case, I've got to say that I actually prefer this one, the one that is medium rare to rare. That has a really nice texture with so much juice coming from it. Here's my thought on picanha as a cut, in terms of all the flavor and the texture. For me, I couldn't go up the scale all the way like they do on Sous Vide Everything. It's certainly something delicious to look forward to present to friends, to tell them all about it. But I can't say that I would prefer to have that in any way over ribeye, strip loin, And I'm not even sure I would pick it over the rump that I had recently, which was also a dry aged Aberdeen Angus. They're slightly different from each other. If they cost the same, then I wouldn't really have a preference. I must say that this picanha it's great, but it's not like blown my mind completely. But I do want to see what it's like with a bit of lime. Let's try that on a couple of pieces, shall we? Just a little bit of lime, because I always see them on that channel with lime next to their picanha. Well, that has just changed it completely. That is a lot more flavoursome. You get the hint of lime, but like a tequila shot, the salt that's on the outside suddenly brings it all to life. Wow. I don't know how that would be on other cuts of steak. I've got to try it, but on this one, that really has brought it to life. Just a squeeze, a hint of lime. So now I'm really excited to see what happens when I put some of this chimichurri that I made on here. Let's dip into that. That might take it even a notch up higher than that piece of lime. Okay, put that on there. Well, I'm excited about this, right? Okay, now I get it. So for me, from now on, when I fancy chimichurri, when I fancy a more citrus flavor with beef and also this vinegar, oregano, onions, garlic, oil, this is amazing with that. Suddenly it comes to life. The beefy, really beefy flavor of this is slightly tempered by the vinegar and the oregano and the onions and even the lime when I put that on, and that is great, the pairing of the two together. And then the fact that there isn't intramuscular fat, there's just the fat on the outside, but that it's still juicy, goes perfectly with that. You really get the flavor of all the herbs and everything that you've put in there. And there's no gristliness or other fat inside there to sort of get in your way of just having an amazing mouthful. That is something really, really special. Just this lime, I can't believe how much of a difference that by itself makes. That's incredible. I can pretty much just slice through this with a fork. At least I can get it to fold in half. Here we go. That's what I've learned today. Wow. I've got to say, the first half of this tasting, I wasn't that excited. I wasn't quite sure why picanha was so exciting, but adding those two things, the lime and the chimichurri together and or separately, wow, that has blown my mind. I'm really excited by that. That is something I want to give to my friends, you know? I want to have a massive board of sliced picanha in the middle of the table, and I just want to sprinkle lime up and down and then like trickle this over the top of it. It will look stunning. It'll be great fun. It will go really well with a casual dinner, lunch with friends, just beers and laughs, and that will be amazing. So that's been an up and down tasting for me. I've definitely learned something new that I really have enjoyed. Have your picanha from rare to sort of medium rare. This is the most I would cook it here, this medium. And have it with something different that you're not used to. I don't think that having horseradish or, you know, any normal dressing like that will make a massive difference, but having something that you're not expecting, like lime, especially if you've salted that outside of your picanha properly, the lime or the vinegar and the oil with all these flavors in it, that is something truly delicious that I wholeheartedly recommend. So I'm gonna go and finish this, and I've got a nice hunk of bread to mop up all this sauce and the juice from the beef, and I've got a glass of wine. So guys, thank you for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed this one and learned at least one or two new things. If you've never tried picanha, I recommend it. And if you like this sort of content, please subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up. It makes a massive difference here on YouTube. And comment down below, have you had picanha? How do you like it? Give me some recipes or tips, or something else that you'd like to see me doing. Well, anyway, thanks for watching, and I'm just gonna go and enjoy the rest of this. Cheers.